with me, vocally agreed with me, because they understood that the current, and of course I'm not defending the total hypocrisy of the US policy on immigration, sucking the people in, not giving them citizenship. I mean, I'm not talking about any of that. I'm saying that the real solution to Mexico's problem cannot lie in pushing out a very large part of its population to serve in these jobs in the United States. What is needed is for Mexico to build its own economy. It will do so at a certain pace. The pace actually, it doesn't matter that much. It's the direction of change that matters. In the hope that one day this can become an integrated, self-confident society in which people can live rich and fulfilling lives. There's a recent study that looked at the relationship between contentment and affluence on the one hand, and the importance of active social networks on the other. And it caught my attention particularly because it showed very strongly that it was the existence of active social networks that was way more important than how many toasters people had. It wasn't actually very important. So that's what happened. The dream of development wasn't realized, the dream of the leisure society wasn't realized. Now, it's a short lecture, and it's absurd of me to imply that I could tell you, explain this story to you fully or to do justice to it, but what I want to do is give you a very brief version of how I understand the reasons why that happened, and just to ask you at least to consider this argument. Of course, it's only one argument. There are other arguments, and hopefully in the question period, people will raise some of those other views, and I will do my best to explain how I relate to those. In my view, we can understand this story, and I actually find the Keynesian lens, and I'll explain a little bit what I mean by that, to be very helpful in understanding the story. Keynes was a liberal economist. He wrote an article in 1933. He wrote an article which began, until a few years ago, of course, I was a free trade advocate like no other. Like all my colleagues, I thought that anybody who didn't believe in free trade was either an idiot or a charlatan. But now, 1933, as I see the world around me, I begin to see that things are more complicated than that. And that the free trade mantra actually is a recipe for ultimately creating imbalances and conflict, and that can ultimately stifle economies, as it was doing in the 1930s, and as a quick aside, as it is of course doing today. So Keynes, thinking about these issues, came to certain conclusions. And the main conclusion, and this is the one that I would always begin with, and I think economists should start here. I believe markets are powerful, positive instruments. I think that they are potentially extremely valuable. I think that they have been historically progressive. I think that they have served public welfare remarkably at times, but they only do so, and they only can do so, when they are embedded in frameworks